Welcome to La Prensa Popular TV. Today we have Miss Katie Hill, who's running for Congress for the 25th District. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming over. We know you've been extremely busy with this campaign.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Who is Katie Hill?
Well, I grew up here in the Antelope Valley and in Santa Clarita. I worked on the issue of homelessness and affordable housing for pretty much my entire career. I am the daughter of a police officer and a registered nurse. I am somebody who grew up with a tradition of family service. Every generation of my family has served in the military, going back to all the way to the Revolutionary War. And I believe that our community and our country deserves better than what we're getting right now. We deserve people in Washington who are truly accountable to the people of our community, as opposed to big corporations and special interest groups and the billionaires who are funding their campaign. Right now, we have a congressman who votes against the interests of our community over and over again because of who he's accountable to in terms of the party politics. And we see that with his votes on health care and on taxes and on a variety of issues. And I'm somebody who is only going there because I think that I can make a difference in people's lives. And that's what I've spent my entire career doing and what I plan to do in Congress.
Perfect. Homelessness. There is a huge community of homeless here in the Antelope Valley. We know that you have some experience assisting homeless as you were as the executive director of a nonprofit organization. At a federal level, if elected, what is the first thing you would do to address this problem?
Sure. So the first thing, homelessness is most tied to housing affordability and the lack of affordable housing. That's the number one correlating factor. So that's something that affects our entire community. When you have people not able to buy homes, then that puts more pressure on the rental market. The more people who are renting homes, the higher that rents go, the lower the vacancy rates go, and the more people who are pushed out of the market and into shared housing, into couch surfing, and ultimately into homelessness. So what we need to do at the federal level is really invest in affordable housing. And at the state level and at the local level, we've seen investments in that. This November, actually, there are a couple of bond initiatives that can make a difference, Props 1 and 2. If we vote yes on those, then that will help with affordable housing at the state level. But at the federal level, the tax plan that the Republicans passed has gutted one of the most important funding sources for affordable housing development. And so we have to restore that. We also need to be fully funding the Housing Trust Fund, which is another aspect of affordable housing investment on the federal level. And we also have to fund the subsidies. It's kind of like Section 8 or it's housing choice vouchers, basically, that can help to offset the costs of rent for people either in private, market rate kind of housing, but also in these new developments that we need to be working on. So those would be the first things that we would address, but other things are related too: healthcare, mental health care, substance abuse treatment. All of those factor into it, and then just the social safety net in general.
Perfect. Well, we're gonna have to take a little break, so we'll be right back. Don't change the channel. We'll be back with you.
Have you suffered an accident? Rear-ended? T-boned? If you were injured as a driver or passenger, don't let it affect you. Call 661-47-LEGAL. We can help you get your car fixed, get medical attention, and a significant monetary compensation after an accident. Call the law offices of Christopher J. Laria.
Okay, so we're back with Ms. Katie Hill, who's running for Congress for the 25th District here in the Antelope Valley. Part of it, Antelope Valley, Santa Clarita, and Simi Valley, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Jobs. What is your priority on job creation within your district?
Yeah, so the biggest thing that we need to focus on is attracting and retaining employers who are really focused on hiring people locally. So we have a number of different industries that are important here in our district, including aerospace, including film, small businesses, green energy, those kinds of things that are all related. And so we can create incentives for those businesses to make sure that they're creating a pipeline for them to hire local workers. Because right now we have these industries that are bringing in new jobs, but too often people here in our community are not prioritized for those jobs. So they don't necessarily have the training or the skill set already. And so people are getting hired from out of state or even are commuting into our area to fill these jobs. And so we need to make sure that it's important to the employers to create those programs to hire right here in our own community. And then also, small businesses are one of the top employers, and for self-employed people, and also small businesses in general with a smaller number of employees. So we need to make it easier for small businesses to operate, create tax incentives, make sure that we're cutting the red tape for small businesses, and addressing other issues that are important for them, including the cost of healthcare.
Perfect. Education. Do you believe in dual immersion programs?
In what?
Dual immersion programs?
I do. Yeah, I think that's an important aspect of educating people, is making sure that they're able to really learn in two languages. That's what you're talking about, right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that they're able to learn in two languages, and so that it's it's not. We're meeting people where they're at, but we're also not we're not forcing them to learn in English when that's not their first language, but it's also equipping them across the board.
Sounds good. How will you help bring more programs to the education system here within the Antelope Valley?
So at the federal level, one of the most important things we can do is make sure that we are bringing federal resources and fully funding our schools at the federal level. So Title I and Title II funding, it needs to be fully funded. So otherwise, we have the school districts, the local school districts are having to make up for the fact that lower income communities don't get the same kinds of revenues into the school districts. And so, people who are living in lower income communities, the students simply don't get the same kinds of opportunities. So at the federal level, we can fully fund Title I and Title II and special education to make sure that we're giving those school districts the opportunity to create programs that are really going to, change people's, prepare them for the future, and provide them with the same opportunities, that people in wealthier areas get. Because it really should not matter where you live. We should all make sure that kids have the same opportunities across the board.
Perfect.
Si estás en busca de business card, flyer, postcard, banners y artículos de publicidad impresos a precios excelentes, Martínez Printing and Publishing es tu mejor opción en el Valle del Antílope. Con décadas de experiencia, Martínez Printing and Publishing te ofrece excelente calidad y esta temporada sus precios están increíbles. Todo el mes de septiembre podrás obtener 2 anuncios magnéticos para tu auto por tan solo $38.88. ¿Escuchaste bien? 2 anuncios magnéticos por $38.88. Visítales en Pandel Boulevard, en el 950 al Este, Suite E, en el segundo piso, o llama 661-380-6438. 380-6438 para los mejores artículos publicitarios impresos. Confianza y excelencia. Solo en Martínez Printing and Publishing, 950 al Este, segundo piso, Suite E, en Pandel.